How do I get my mom or dad to eat? Or how do I convince them to eat?
Up a lot, right?
Yes.
So you kind of have to look at what's going on, right? I think some ways that can help is getting them involved in the meal preparation. That definitely helps with desire and willingness to eat. Cooking things that give a lot of smell, like putting something in the crock pot that's kind of around all day, then that gets their brain like,
Right.
right? You start smelling that and you start, right? That kind of helps too. So you're not just kind of like cold, like springing on people. Make eating part of the family. I do see a lot of times that, somebody's rushing and they're like, okay, it's time to eat, sit down and eat. And then they're sitting down and eating, and the loved one is doing other things during that time, right? And loneliness, eating, it's important to have companionship. We have a whole thing called the companionship diet. Like eating alone is not beneficial, right? There's nothing good about that. So try to make it part of community. Simplify. So we may be able to look at a big plate of food and think, oh, I'm not going to be able to eat that. I'm going to eat half of it and I'll save the rest for my lunch tomorrow. Somebody with cognitive impairment, or, they may just really, anyone, right, may look at that plate and say, I can't eat this.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna eat it, right? Like this is too much for me. So really focus on reducing those portion sizes and not making the plate look overwhelming. I think sometimes we're like, oh, mom's not eating, I'm going to make a plate with lots of different stuff on it. Maybe something will entice her. And what that actually turns into is I'm totally over. One or two things on the plate is fine. Small portion is fine, right? Make it manageable so that then they can go, okay, oh, this is good, this is manageable. Maybe they'll want more. That's fine, right? But make it manageable. I think also we tend to go, okay, it's time to eat. And they may say, no, or I'm not hungry. And we go, you have to be hungry. You haven't eaten since lunch. It's time to eat. Here you go. Eat your food, right? And so right away, that becomes a stressful situation.
Argument right away.
Absolutely, right? Like, no, you have to eat. I don't have time. You need to eat. You're trying to rationalize with them, like, you need to eat for your health, for your this, for your that. And I think it's better to not say like, hey, do you want to eat? It's better to just be like, okay, come on with me. Okay, let's sit down, right? Like, you don't have to ask them if they're ready to eat. Like, just get them to the table. They sit down at the table and they don't pick up their fork right away. And then you're like, come on, you need to eat. Okay, you're not going to eat? Fine, I'll take it away. Oh. Right? Leave in a minute, right? Just give it a minute. Don't take the plate away right away, right? Like, leave it, let them kind of, especially if we're dealing with cognitive impairment, their brain is processing at a much slower rate. So you kind of got to, here's your food. Tell them what's on their plate. They may have vision issues that makes it difficult for them to identify what's on their plate.
Yeah, and I know just being in the industry for as long as I have been, that is
it's a huge thing. And we get so frustrated.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. It is so frustrating when someone doesn't want to eat and you're so worried. You're like, how do I get food down them? Right? Like, I'm so worried about this. And so your anxiety about it bleeds over to them.
Oh, yeah.
Makes them anxious. And then we just fight it. Yes. Yeah.